Alistair, over to you.
Thanks very much. Evening again, and thanks so much for that, Lance. It is one of those things as an educator, certainly now in the last couple of years, our planning has been a lot around what we're seeing with our young people coming through, particularly from primary school, and the effect that the last few years has had on them and how we have to adapt and cope and look after them. So it'd be wonderful to get you back into our school at some stage to speak to our student leaders in particular, and to speak to our student support department as well. So real privilege to have you here tonight. Tonight, obviously the other thing we're doing is obviously the Distinguished Alumni Award was an initiative started by Bruce Ritchie. I understand it was Bruce that brought that in. So it's quite fitting tonight that there's a number of distinguished alumni recipients sitting in this room at the moment. We're looking at one right now. But it's fitting tonight that the recipient is the first person who was at school during Bruce's tenure. So all of them up to date so far have been quite early on in Massey High School's career. But this is an outstanding young man, and he is still young, particularly for myself, who coincidentally was head boy of Massey High School in my first year of teaching there, 2007. I had quite a lot to do with him in that short time that I knew him. I bumped into him a few times in 2006 when I was there on placement as well, when I think Ken Peacey might have been head boy in that year. But this is a young man who was the first person actually to be head boy in Ducks and captain of the first 15. I know that Tony Antonovich, who's sitting in this room somewhere, was head boy in Ducks as well, but he was captain of the first 11. And I don't think he was the captain of the chess team as well. So this young man at the time was, as I say, head boy Ducks, first 15 captain and captain of the chess team, so he was a true all-rounder. And funny story as well, I actually bumped into him because, believe it or not, I used to actually play rugby for a wee while until a debilitating knee injury combined with a debilitating lack of athletic ability and talent cut that career quite short. But I actually bumped into him. I used to play President's Grade for Teachers Eastern, and we were about to take the field, and he'd been playing centre crims, I think, for college rifles, and he was coming off. We were a player short, and he said to us, "Have you got a jersey, sir?" Because he still called us sir at that point, which we have. So he pulled on a jersey and ran straight back on the field. And we actually won that game, which was probably the first one we won in quite some time. As I say, a number of honours. He basically came first in every subject that he took at Massey High School. Recipient of the Merriman Cup. Just basically involved in everything. He then left us, obviously, as you do. You have to. Went to Auckland University, graduated from there, got a PhD, and then, unlike many of our people, he actually went on then to continue his studies at Harvard University, where he still remains. So obviously he can't join us here tonight. For those of you who do remember him, there's a few in this room, our recipient for this year, the Distinguished Alumni, is Harry Aitkin. A few people remember that. Harry still resides in Boston. He's moved across the river, as he puts it. He's no longer at Harvard University. He's a Boston General, carrying on with his work there. But a lot of the work that he is undertaking at the moment is having a huge impact on the field of medicine. So I'm not going to say too much more about him. He did record a very short video for us. It's only 2.5 minutes. And that'll give us an inkling of what he's up to now. But as I say, very, very deserving recipient of the Distinguished Alumni Award. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Harry, and I'm honoured to be chosen as a Massey High School Distinguished Alumni. Unfortunately, I'm unable to attend the dinner in person, as I'm currently living in Boston, but it's wonderful to know that these events are happening and that the school community is continuing to thrive. Allow me to tell you a little bit about my journey. I attended Massey High School from 2003 to 2007, and have fond memories of my time there. I think it's fair to say that attending such a large and diverse school broadened my horizons and cultivated a desire to learn about the world around me and the people living in it. All throughout my time at Massey, I was lucky to learn from a number of great mentors and teachers. And perhaps my proudest moment at the school occurred when I was recruited onto the chess team by my form teacher and chess master, Mr. Beach. Most importantly, perhaps, I always had excellent science teachers, particularly my chemistry teachers, Mr. Yin and Mr. Beaumont. With their encouragement and support from the school and the wider community, in my final year at Massey, I was able to attend the Rotary National Science Forum, where I met like-minded students from around the country and really cemented my desire to pursue a career in science. So after leaving school, I studied at the University of Auckland, where I first did a BA-BSc and then a PhD in organic chemistry. After graduating from my PhD in 2017, I moved to Harvard University. And at Harvard, I worked within a team of scientists that focused on developing new ways to synthesize a family of anti-cancer molecules called the helichondrins. The big goal for our research was that we might find new chemical methods to make these anti-cancer drugs more efficiently and potentially discover better therapeutics along the way. I've since moved across the river to the Massachusetts General Hospital, where I'm now doing origins of life research. What this means is that I'm trying to trace the chemical reactions and processes that occurred about 4 billion years ago that first led to the emergence of simple cells and ultimately to the diversity of life that we see today. In my opinion, this is one of the most fundamental unanswered science questions remaining, and perhaps what drew me to the field is the same curiosity that I developed at school, sitting in those science classes all those years ago. So many thanks once again. It really is a privilege to be recognized as a distinguished alumni and to tell you a bit about my work so far. Hopefully I'll be back in the not too distant future to participate more in the Massey Alumni Network. Until then, enjoy your evening.